Hi, and welcome to How They Funded It, a podcast series powered by British Business Bank. In this series, we're hearing from inspiring entrepreneurs who've raised the right kind of funding at the right time and used it to make a serious impact with their businesses. I'm Lesley Williams, and today I'm joined by Leon Stapleton, Academy owner and head coach at We Make Footballers Wales. Leon used a £15,000 startup loan to launch his very first Wales franchise of the nationally recognised coaching academy, bringing high-quality, inclusive football training to kids aged 4 to 12 across Cardiff. We'll talk about how Leon turned that initial investment into a thriving business, what the loan enabled him to do in those early days, and how he's now helping hundreds of young players develop both on and off the pitch. If you've ever dreamed of turning your passion into a business or using funding to build something with real community impact, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Hi, Leon.
Hi.
Hi. So tell us a little bit more about your business and what inspired it.
So We Make Footballers was a franchise that I'd seen maybe about 2 years ago, and I was looking for something out there to do. And for me, from a teaching background, I thought, well, hang on, I can work with children at something that I was quite passionate about, football. And I just thought, well, I'm going to go for it, put two and two together and go forward with that. But for me, there was like that major stumbling block of how I'm going to sort of get there in the first place, because being a franchise, you had to actually sort of invest into it and actually have the money to sort of buy the franchise and buy the rights to it, train, and then get all the bits of equipment needed as well. So it sort of led towards this sort of British Business Bank and the startup loans sort of scheme. So yeah, it was a very sort of whirlwind kind of time, but then I found a little bit of clarity in what I was doing and sort of just went for that sort of idea and put the wheels into motion.
Nice. So were you recommended to the loan, or did you find it through research? How did you come across it?
Yeah, so the loan was recommended to me by one of the staff in the We Make Footballers Academy. They themselves had not used it or sort of gone anywhere near the enterprise before, but they had said, look, there are funding options out there, and the startup loans was one of the funding options available. Then there were 2 or 3 different sort of schemes and options there available, but I thought, okay, well, I'll have a look at each of them, do my sort of due diligence in looking and sort of doing all the sort of research before trying to get the investments. But trying to find the one that was the right fit and sort of seemed right and seemed sort of attainable for me was like sort of the main sort of goal in that first instance. And I sort of found something good.
Nice. And how was the application process for you?
So the application process was quite straightforward, because you have an online sort of platform. There's a portal there where you do all your sort of business bits and pieces, all the paperwork that you need to do. And it's not any sort of daunting task, like most of these sort of technological things nowadays. There's an app for almost everything. And they've kind of sort of kept up to date with the tech in terms of making it accessible and making the platform user-friendly, which was one of the sort of big plus points for me, because I like many people, you have a look and things can seem daunting or overwhelming, sure, and you might be put off or perturbed by that, but no, it wasn't like that at all. It was quite straightforward, and there was help available at every option, every sort of fork in the journey. Mm-hmm. There was someone there by my side, sort of reassuringly asking questions that I probably hadn't thought about at that stage, and thought, well, okay, well, it kind of made me feel that I was, thinking properly about it and making the right decisions in what I was doing.
So you were really mentored through the process then?
Absolutely, yeah. That was one of the things that you thought, okay, well, you're doing something which you're not quite sure of, and that mentorship was something that was valuable, definitely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's talk about the impact of the funds then. So what's it meant for you? How's it impacted you, the business and your customers?
It's been a huge impact, because like in the first instance, just sort of attaining the actual franchise in the first instance is a huge sort of huge cost that you need some financial help for. So that first impact is huge in the first place. Then after that, for the ongoing marketing costs that you have, if you want to sort of be promoting yourself and putting yourself out there for people to find, you have to try and constantly try to market yourself in a way that they will see you. And those funds go towards that, and they've made like huge impacts because you have those people come in and they say that they've seen your either profile this way or they've seen some article that way, and they're coming in and they're steady stream because of that. So it's been a huge impact. And again, the cost of the equipment and keeping that all sort of up to date and sort of maintained the supply is something that would be a huge hurdle in the first place. Wouldn't be impossible, but every little bit of help that you get, you can make that an easier sort of road to travel down.
So you would feel perhaps more confident to go for funding in the future?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of toying with the idea. I did already this year toy with the idea of like going for a second loan or increasing the amount that I borrow. That's mainly to sort of expand and look towards broadening the horizons, get new equipment and stuff like that. That will help the progress of the whole franchise. So I'm weighing it up still. It'd still be an easy enough process to go towards, but at the moment, as I sort of speak and think about these sorts of things, it's one of those things that's an option that's there, and which is for me a bonus, definitely.
Lovely. So back to the real impact. Has there been some really key achievements that you're really proud of?
Yeah. So at the moment now, we've just passed the 100 subscription sort of milestone sort of thing. We've got 105, 106 children to date this week, sort of signed on to weekly subscription. So they come every week and do a training session. Be that on a Monday. We've got a girls session that's sort of got going the early part of this year. We've got a Wednesday, which is a brand new sort of night that I've sort of launched, where we're getting sort of 5-a-side for like up to 12 to 14 like players at a time, sort of, and a sort of special sort of, right, these guys are going to play in a little league for a couple of weeks, then we mix it up every 6 weeks sort of thing. That's a new night that I've launched. A Friday night we're doing our weekly training sessions, and we're also doing those weekly training sessions again on the Sunday. So throughout the week we're seeing a lot of children come through, and I sort of pinch myself and go, well, how did this sort of jump all of a sudden from like 50 odd sort of thing? And I was quite impressed like a couple of months ago, and I was like, oh yeah, I got over 50 children, and now it's double that. And I'm kind of pinching myself, but at the same time quite happy that I'm sort of like saturated and quite busy with what I'm doing. So the impacts there, they've been like sort of like huge in terms of like the growth. Of course, like we've like also done little bits and pieces like for birthday parties and things like that. Little private one-to-one sessions that sometimes come about. So there's loads of little other avenues that I've opened up that I haven't sort of figured that they would sort of come about in that first instance. So there's been like big wins and big sort of surprises and big sort of impacts on just what the sort of media scope of things can actually pull in towards you.
Yeah, sure, it's amazing. I love to hear that you're doing stuff with girls to get them into football as well. That's
yeah,
brilliant.
that was definitely like one of the big things of like I was looking to do at the early part of the year, and I felt like quite passionately about like sort of making sure that there was a space for young girls to actually come and enjoy football, because I was seeing like a lot of not a lot, but a few young girls come in and try to play with the boys. And I'm like, yes, I love it, commend it. So, yeah, get in there sort of thing. But then conversely, after a few weeks, they disappear and you'd be like, oh, what happened to young X, Y, or Z? And you want to try to keep them sort of there and involved and whatever. And what I realized is that they need their own space and they need to be playing with other young girls to bring that confidence out. There's only so much you can do if they're playing with boys, and it's great to see them playing with boys, but there's a certain point where they need their own space to flourish and sort of do their own thing, sort of thing. So, creating that was like something I felt like, okay, we've got to do that. And even though the numbers are a little bit smaller than the boys' sessions, I'm sure they'll grow in time. Yeah. But the girls that are there, they're enjoying the fact that they can come to the boys' sessions, but they've got their own one during the week as well. So it's cool.
So tell us about something that you would love to brag about.
Right. So I'd like to sort of put forward the fact that I'm trying to get this into sort of full-time experience for myself, because all of the part-time sort of bits I've been doing have been evenings and weekends. So for me, I'd like to sort of like brag and put it out there that I'm looking to get into schools and looking to sort of secure some kind of after-school club or lunchtime club, maybe even PE lessons for the schools, where I can sort of facilitate what I'm doing into a full-time thing and benefit more of the community that I'm sort of underneath and with, and sort of get more football played.
Yeah, well, that's a great form of outreach to work in schools, right? Yeah,
definitely, because I can see that there's a wealth of talented kids out there that probably just itching to get into some football, and especially like I sort of explained before with the girls' football. I suppose if you make it accessible to them, then it's also going to be a sort of thing where you'll be reaching out to maybe sort of young disabled athletes that want to play football. Maybe you can have some inclusivity there where they know in a school environment they'll be in a safer place where they can sort of join in with their peers and their friends. So I could see it being something that would be quite good to do for like both sides of the coin, both parties involved in terms of like for myself, for the schools, for the community.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Lovely impact. Thank you so much. So, okay, let's wrap it up then. So if you could give one really good piece of advice for anyone who's watching this thinking, I'm in a similar place to him right now, what do I do next?
It'd be quite a simple piece of advice. It'd be like, well, have a look at the options that are available to you. And definitely look at this option with the startup loans and the British Business Bank, because it's a very sort of easy thing to sort of look at, get into, understand, and actually then implement to help you on your journey through your business. It's a no-brainer in terms of like what advice I'd give. I'd say, well, there's funding opportunities there, and if you've got a great idea to launch something, why not?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Get involved and get on that train.
Yeah, love that. So one last thing. If someone wanted to go and find out more about How We Make Footballers and yourself, where would they go? So
they would head to the website www.wemakefootballers.com/Cardiff to get directly to my Cardiff page. And there they can find times of all of the sessions that we do. They can find out more of the information about the other services that we offer, including birthday parties, one-on-one sessions, all those other things. They're all there. There'll be a little piece written about myself and my other coaches, and you can just familiarize yourself with actually what we do there. So failing that, you could also, get on an email and email me, give me a call. Leon.Stapleton@wemakefootballers.com. It's all good.
Thank you so much, Leon. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
A big thank you to Leon for sharing his journey. It's such a brilliant example of how startup loans can kickstart not just a business, but a movement that inspires the next generation. To help you understand more about how startup loans work and whether they're right for you and your business, we're joined now by Jessica from the British Business Bank.
Startup loans provide fixed interest loans and support to aspiring early stage business owners from across the UK who might be struggling to access other forms of finance. The programme supports employment, it enables economic growth, and it has a real transformational impact on the lives of thousands of people. Startup Loans provides loans of up to £25,000 per director of a company with up to a maximum of 4 directors. And this is to entrepreneurs who've been trading for less than 3 years. The repayment term is 1 to 5 years and at an interest rate of 6%. Startup Loans provides a full package of free support, including pre-application advice, courses, and post-loan mentoring. We lend money to people in every part of the country and from all backgrounds. The proportion of our loans which go to underserved groups is far higher than the proportion of the business population. So whether you want to turn your passion into a business, solve a real-world problem, or become the next Bill Gates, visit the Startup Loan website to find out a bit more.
So that's it for this episode of How They Funded It. If you found it useful, please go and give us a follow or share it with someone else who's building something really exciting. Join us next time when we'll meet another incredible founder and explore yet another route to funding success.